So I'm a bit of an IMAX nut. Hate to be that guy, but if you've been around me for too long, you've undoubtedly heard me go on about my IMAX spiel, about how it's pretty much the best way there is to watch a movie. So of course, with the Odyssey coming out, I decided to stop twiddling my fingers and actually try to explain what I think is so special about it. And there are really so many great videos about IMAX as a format and Christopher Nolan and kind of how he's pioneered this in terms of actual feature films, but I totally understand if someone who hasn't been to an IMAX theater doesn't really understand what the big deal is all about. And they might be wondering, do I really need to see the Odyssey in IMAX, or is that just a gimmick? And so I'm here to just tell you whether or not you need to, and spoilers, the answer is undoubtedly yes. So this all has to begin with talking about Christopher Nolan, because although he is not necessarily the most popular filmmaker among cinephiles, he is undoubtedly the most famous living director. And you know, Steven Spielberg had his time, the Russo brothers get out of here, but Christopher Nolan is arguably a household name at this point. And it's no coincidence that his rise to stardom really began with The Dark Knight in 2008. But the fact that The Dark Knight was actually the first narrative feature film to utilize IMAX. Whereas before, IMAX was known for things like nature documentaries, Christopher Nolan and his team really saw the potential for IMAX to elevate his narrative and his, I guess, spectacle that came with The Dark Knight. And he spent the better part of the last 20 years kind of refining this process, which all culminates with the Odyssey. And so I don't want to spend too much time getting into the technical, like nitty-gritty of IMAX. There is a great video with Ryan Coogler explaining the different formats with Sinners, and so many great videos from Christopher Nolan and IMAX themselves promoting the Odyssey, where I'm even still learning new things. But I just want to say two reasons why the Odyssey is the perfect place to start your IMAX journey if you haven't yet. And those two things are that, number one, this is the first film to be completely shot in IMAX front to back, and so that means there are no aspect ratio changes. I guess the major criticism of people who have seen previous films in IMAX is that not every scene is in that expanded aspect ratio, and that was because up until this point you could not really record dialogue heavy scenes in IMAX due to the fact that the film stock is so huge, the camera is ginormous, and it's too loud. You really can't capture intimate and quiet dialogue scenes with it up until this point. And so of course with Christopher Nolan, his cinematographer Hoyt van Hoytma, with the Odyssey they invented a new rig, arguably a new camera to actually make that possible. And so front to back, the Odyssey will be in the full 1.43 aspect ratio. And you know, this is really what makes Christopher Nolan such a special filmmaker, and that is that the amount of love and kind of passion that he puts into making a movie a cinematic event. I mean, I'm really not trying to glaze the guy too much, but Christopher Nolan is really pushing the boundaries of film. I mean, it's really not hyperbolic to say, but at this point, every new Nolan film is showing you something you really haven't seen before. I mean, Oppenheimer really proved that you can tackle a very serious subject matter on IMAX and capture everything perfectly, like close-ups and dialogue sequences and suspense and drama. And so, I mean, it all worked so well, and that's why Christopher Nolan is really at the height of his career at this point, and why something like the Odyssey is so exciting. Nolan has an incredible amount of dedication to filming things practically and on location, and so of course with the Odyssey that means they were really out on these beaches in the ocean. They filmed this in 6 different countries, and the proof is really just on the screen. And so if there's any excuse to be telling this Greek myth, which is one of the most famous and retold stories in history, Christopher Nolan is really a great person to take this on. And so what I just really love so much about IMAX is that, for lack of better words, it's really just a celebration of film. Going to an IMAX film is really honestly an event. Like with the Odyssey, they had you buy a ticket a year in advance, and although I didn't jump on that, I am able to go opening weekend. But in the age of streaming where everything feels so disposable, theaters in general, and specifically IMAX, are the total opposite of that. I mean, seeing something like the Odyssey in IMAX is really only something you can do if you put in the time and plan it and kind of make a day out of it, hopefully invite your friends and just make it something special. And as a film lover, it's truly just like healing for me. Like, you only get maybe a couple filmmakers a year that really take advantage of the format. I mean, Christopher Nolan's still undoubtedly #1, but you do have people like Denis Villeneuve or Ryan Coogler who are making great films on a big scale and putting it on IMAX. You also have movies like One Battle After Another or The Brutalist that were filmed on VistaVision, but really come from filmmakers trying to experiment on the way that they can kind of film things on a big scale. And so something I just really appreciate is how pure of a filmmaking tool IMAX is. I mean, it's all really just about the beauty of the image, the beauty of seeing the screen like in the biggest possible way. But it also really encourages filmmakers to do things practically when it comes to something like action or special effects. But you can just really capture everything so beautifully, whether that is a landscape or a close-up like we saw in Oppenheimer. But IMAX really just gives the filmmaker and the eye of the cinematographer like the highest form of appreciation. I mean, film images do not get any better than IMAX. I mean, you've heard of 4K and 8K, but IMAX has no Ks. There is no resolution with IMAX. It's literally like unlimited amount of resolution. It's really the highest amount of clarity and, in my opinion, the most beautiful presentation of color possible on film. And so to this day, I do think Oppenheimer is the peak of IMAX. I have not seen the Odyssey yet, but I even have the 4K disc of Oppenheimer, and I still dream about being able to see it in IMAX 70mm again. I mean, the opening shot in a full IMAX aspect ratio will always leave me dumbfounded. It's like the closest I've come to passing out in my seat in a theater just based on how beautiful the image is that I'm seeing. And so it's not just about, you know, the big screen, like having the biggest screen. That's not it at all. It's the fact that they were filmed using this technology that can only be truly realized in the perfect setting in one of these theaters specifically crafted for this experience. And so it's just complete immersion and like complete beauty. You know, it's like the opposite of something like Marvel, where you are continually taken out of an experience by a poorly made sequence, rushed visual effects. But just having a film like the Odyssey on IMAX is something that you can't capture at home. It's something that takes a ton of people to make and also requires, you know, a lot of people to be surrounding you in the theater to make possible. And I'm just here to try and just champion why it is such a special experience. I mean, it is just as special as something like a concert at a great venue or going to a museum to see a work of art. And you know, IMAX is expensive and it takes a lot of effort for a moviegoer to make happen, but you know, just like a beautiful film at the cutting edge of what is possible is worth that. And so just to be honest, like, I know the main reason most people who have not gone to IMAX have not gone because it is so limited. That being, of course, films that actually offer IMAX on film in 70mm. I mean, there are only about 30 theaters across the world that are capable of projecting IMAX 70mm, and it becomes especially limited when you are trying to go to one outside of the United States. And on top of that, I mean, like I said before, they release tickets for this a year in advance, so screenings are all but sold out at this point for the first week or so at least. But as they say, like, if you are in line, stay in line. And if you need to make a day out of this, like if you even need to make a trip out of this, I say like go for it. Like, it is totally worth it in my opinion. I mean, if it's something that feels special to you and you're excited for this movie, like honestly, just go for it. Film and seeing something in a theater in a special experience like this is really special. And I mean, enjoying art like this is really what gives us life. We'll say that if you're gonna fly out to see a film in IMAX, at least see it twice. But I would never judge you, and if I wasn't so lucky to live in Southern California, then I would be doing the same thing. But if anyone makes it out to IMAX for the first time for the Odyssey or another film, let me know. I honestly want to know what you thought, because I love it so much, and I'm sorry, but I will never shut up about it. But thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe to help out the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.